Okay, it is 3:30 p.m., June 30th, last day of June, and this is a special emergency broadcast. And we're going to talk about two 18-karat yellow gold Rolex stunners, the Rolex GMT with the Jubilee bracelet and the Rolex Day-Date with the black dial. So we're going to talk about these two pieces. And if somebody is considering getting a Rolex, which of these two should they get? This is probably the best two options that Rolex is offering right now. And you can see there it is now 3:30 p.m. and going on 3:31. There you go, just ticked over. And so we're going to discuss this. And I actually did contact my AD that I bought two 18-karat yellow gold Rolexes from back in the year 2000. I did talk to my AD, and she is hopeful that she's going to be able to deliver a GMT to me in the time frame that I outlined to her. I told her that I didn't want it for this Christmas, but probably for next Christmas. So she said let her know about 8 months prior, and she said she can make it happen. So that was a nice conversation. She says it's a stunner. By the way, she does have one at the Tyson's Corner. It's in McLean location, um, but only display only. And she's holding it display only until Christmas time. She has one in stock. So she said I could come down and take a look at it if I want. I might do that. I might not. It's a little bit of a hike down there from here, but I may or may not do that. So I'm going to go on to the website here real quick and configure. Let's go ahead and switch over here. If we go here and say we want yellow gold, and we say next, and so it's 38,900. 38,900 is the list price. And let's get a bigger photo here on it. And we can see it has the Jubilee bracelet, and it is stunning. It is stunning. Oh, shoot. Wait, something just popped up on my computer. Hold on. Get rid of that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Okay. So anyway, I forgot to ask her if it has the ceramic pins in the bracelet, the ceramic sleeves. I forgot to ask her that. Lost Spring Bar, I think you're in Virginia. Maybe you could swing by there and take a look. It's at the Tyson's Galleria location. And they claim they have one in stock until Christmas time for display purposes and for people to examine. Of course, if you sweet talk her, she might sell it to you on the spot. So anyway, there's that. Now let me go and configure the day-date. Then go and configure the day-date and see. Let's see, how do we get over to the day-date? Oh, I hate navigating this website. Okay, so date just, no. Submariner, no. Here we go, day-date, okay. All right, so let's see what we can find out on this. So if we configure, and we say 40 mil, and we say start, and of course we want yellow gold. We'd never buy a copper colored watch. Yeah, Leckensdorfer. Yeah, that's who they are. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the bezel. Fluted is great. The dial. I think I went this way to get to just the normal black dial. Yeah, because I don't want the diamonds on there. So I guess that dial there. And so we're at 38,500. So they're pretty much the same price. Pretty much the same price. Oh, shoot, I'm not showing that. More fool me. Okay. So anyway, that's the day date in question. And the reason I would spec out this particular day date is the black dial might be a little more legible. I'm not sure, but it might be. But that's part of the discussion here is the black dial on the day date, is it going to be as legible? And let me switch over here to the picture that shows them side by side. Brand, here we go. All right, so you should be able to see that. Okay, so I think that picture clearly shows that the GMT would be more legible. That the GMT would be more legible. It's just those indices, those round indices pop, and the hour hand, even with the Mercedes thing on it, makes it a little bit bigger. I don't know if it looks like the minute hand even might have a little more lume on it. Definitely, I think more lume on it. So I think it might be more legible for sure. Now, the other issue though is you see how the edges of the case on that photo to the right, you see how the edges are sharp. Now, maybe that'll never touch your skin. Maybe that's not an issue. The day-date is more rounded, which I've always liked. I've always preferred a more rounded case. So, pros and cons here, folks. We got potentially more legibility on the GMT, although I think that dial is actually smaller, okay, on the GMT. I think it's actually smaller because you notice the bezel's bigger, and they're both 40 mm watches. So the day-date probably has a bigger dial, but I still think the GMT would probably be more legible. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments on that. So yeah, a lot of things to think about. And again, I've got to confirm. I have to confirm that it has the sleeves, that the GMT has the ceramic sleeves. I did send an email. Erin, by the way, is the young lady that's in charge of Rolex sales there. So Lost Spring Bar, if you want to see her, her name's Erin, Erin. Seems like a good gal. And so, yeah, I sent an email to her because I forgot to ask her when I had her on the phone. And I don't know if she knew or not anyway at that time. But anyway, I asked her if it does have them, and hopefully she'll also respond. But I would like to get somebody that has eyeballs on the watch that can actually definitively confirm that it does have them. It may not have the sleeves. Check the description of the Yacht Master 42 titanium. Okay. I don't know why that would make a difference, but we'll look here. Oh gosh, I hate navigating this website. Rolex, okay, find your Rolex. All right, let's find the Yacht Master, and I will switch to this if I find it here. So there's Submariner. There's Day-Date. Yacht Master, okay. All right, here's the Yacht Master. Watch, Sailing Word, the Oyster Retro Yacht Master 42 is now available in RLX titanium. Of course, they would name some special titanium. It's probably basically grade 5 titanium. It looks like that's what it is. So were you saying just look at the Yacht Master as another option, or were you saying it says something about the sleeves? Because I'm kind of confused. Yeah, I mean, I think the yacht, this watch that we have on the screen right now, I mean, I think that definitely would trump buying a Submariner. I don't know why somebody would buy a Submariner at that point when they can get this in titanium. I would think that would be a better move. Let's see what the price of it is. Oh, and I wonder how thick it is compared to the sub. That would be a thing. Yeah, I always like that dial, that gray dial. And I like the blue dial too. So let's go to size. See, I prefer 40 millimeter over 42. So material. See, they don't make that one in the 40 mil in titanium, unfortunately. So I guess you got to go, let's go back. I guess you got to go with 42, which is kind of a shame. Material. Okay, so this comes in yellow gold and titanium. Well, let's check it in yellow gold. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No. That watch looks like it's been hit by an ugly stick. Yeah, no, we'll pass on that whole thing there. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay, GMT hands are bigger, so easier lovely watches, but the all gold would be heavy on the wrist. Obviously it's going to be heavier than my titanium diver. Absolutely. I've talked to a lot of people that wear the 40 mil day-date and they don't seem to have a problem with it. I, of course, had a 36 mil day-date, which would be lighter weight for sure, but they didn't seem to have a problem with it. Okay, Lost Spring Bar is in here. I guess he's coming in as a guest. Let's bring him in. Let's see what happens here. But we got no video feed.
Yeah, I'm out and about, Craig. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I wanted to. I got a little bit of a cold, but I wanted to explain the Yacht Master to you. I was looking at the website this morning. Actually, if you go to that titanium 42 millimeter Yacht Master,
Yeah.
in the description of the bracelet, it actually calls out the ceramic sleeves in the titanium Yacht Master bracelet. But if you go to the GMT that you're looking at, it does not mention them.
It doesn't. Now, what about the day-date? Does it call it out on the day-date 40?
I didn't look at that. That's a good point. You should check that out. There might be an assumption that all the gold bracelets have the
Let me
ceramic
go to
now.
the day-date 40 and see if they say it, because I don't think they do, but this will be interesting to see.
Maybe they just call it out on the Yacht Master because it's titanium.
And maybe because they're stupid.
Yeah, it's possible. And I was searching around. I thought that I had heard it had the ceramic sleeves, but I couldn't find any confirmation of it
You thought
online.
you heard what?
That the GMT had the ceramic sleeves, but I can't find
A lot of
confirmation of it
people are
anywhere.
saying that, but I haven't seen any evidence of it.
I've heard like Tim Mosso say in the past that all of the gold oyster bracelets have the ceramic sleeves, but I don't know about a gold jubilee.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to yellow gold on the day-date. Let me switch over to that. And let me take Tim's comment off here for now. Give us more. Okay, so I'm going to say bezel. I'm going to do all the selections here and then dial. I'll just select that dial. And I guess I go to discover. And then let's see what it says about the bracelet. Because I did check what it said about the bracelet on the GMT and it didn't mention it. So I'm trying to find where they talk about it on the day-date here. Oh, shoot. Not seeing it. Let's see. There's usually a set. Here we go, where it has bracelet, right? So I click on the little plus. All right. So it just says President semicircular 3-piece links, concealed folding crown clasp, 18 karat yellow gold. So it doesn't say anything about the sleeves.
It doesn't on the Yacht Master in that section either. Scroll up to the text. There's a text section for the bracelet too. See if it says it up there, up top.
Okay. The President bracelet. Okay, the ultimate refinement. Okay. Design, development, stringent test. As with all the components of the watch, aesthetic controlled by the human eye, guaranteed impeccable beauty. Present bracelet with its semicircular three-piece links was created in 1956 for the launch of an Oyster Perpetual Day-Date. It represents the ultimate in refinement and comfort, as always made of carefully selected precious metals. So yeah, they don't mention the sleeves there either.
Well,
and I know
good.
that
That's
has
good
it
news.
because Carlos sent me pictures of his.
Yeah, it definitely has it there.
Not
So
Carlos, Dudley, because he has the yellow. He had the yellow gold.
yeah, so it's good news they don't mention it there. So that gives you a chance. Like if they mentioned it everywhere they had it and the GMT didn't, then you'd be out of luck. But there's a pretty good chance the GMT has it. I think that GMT is the one to go with, Craig. 100%. The only downside is the President bracelet's going to be more substantial and like a nicer bracelet on the wrist, but it doesn't have the Easy Link micro adjusts on it.
Well,
And
I'll tell you, I had a GMT years ago with the Jubilee bracelet, and the bracelet was fine. I mean,
it'll be great. It'll be great. The President's just a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty close as far as, presence on the wrist, as far as holding the watch in place and all of that. I didn't have any problem because I had a GMT with the Oyster bracelet also, and then I had the GMT with the Jubilee, and I didn't see any downside to the Jubilee at all. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Now, what do you think about the issue of the dial being smaller on the GMT?
I think it's going to be more legible because the indices and the markers are going to be in
So
the
you think that's going to make up for the fact that it's a smaller dial?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well,
It'll look
hopefully
smaller
if
on the
you
wrist,
go
too.
there, you can look at both of them side by side. My
Yeah.
guess is they'll have a Day-Date 40 also. If they have that on display, they'll probably have a Day-Date 40.
I've been in there recently. I didn't see the GMT, but they definitely have a Day-Date 40 all the time on display. So yeah, I can compare them for sure. The one
Yeah,
thing
and
you
if
mentioned
they don't
earlier,
have it out, just ask for Erin, and you can even tell her you talked to me. But she said she's going to have it there until Christmas for customers to look at.
oh, that's great. Yeah, I'll go check it out because I want to see that watch myself. The one thing I'll mention about the cases is that the GMT case, the modern one, is just flat on the left side across from the crown, and it's a thinner watch than the Submariner by about a millimeter or two
Which
on
is
the case
nice.
back. Well, it's nice, but it doesn't. The case back on it. The reason the GMT is 100 meters and the sub is 300 is purely because of the case back's thinner. That thinner case back does tend to let the edge of the watch dig into your wrist a little bit. So I find that the Submariner is more comfortable just because the case back lifts the edge of the watch off of your wrist a little bit. It's a really
And that
subtle
is a
difference,
problem.
yeah.
And that's a problem. That's a problem that I wouldn't have had with the vintage GMT that I had because it had more rounded case.
Yeah, exactly. So the new ones have it's just a sheer 90-degree angle edge, and it's totally flat across. And so that thinner case back does lead to that. If the watch rides up on your wrist at all, that edge will dig into your wrist a bit, which I find that is a problem. And with the gold watch, it's going to be a lot heavier than the steel that I have.
Yeah.
So it's going to do it a little bit more even.
Maybe that means the Day-Date is the better option.
Yeah, that's a real small, subtle detail, but that's something that annoys me actually.
Because the Day-Date is thin and rounded.
Yeah, like the Daytona is thin, or maybe it's as thin, I think, and the case back, anyways, is just as thin. as the GMT, but because it has the rounded case on that side, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the plot thickens.
Pull up the do you have a photo of the side of the day-date? I'm not as familiar with the case shape of the day-date.
Well, let me see if I can get this to show the side here. Just give me a second. I've got it. Shoot. Got the side of the bracelet, but now I can't get the side of the case. Go up. This thing is this. I wish I could just grab it and spin it around. I'm pretty sure even the newer day dates are pretty rounded. I don't think they've totally screwed up that case yet. Um, I mean, I know I've seen pictures of Dudley's and all on his wrist and everything, and it looked to me like it was rounded just like all of them always have been. So, yeah, well, you'll be able to make those judgment calls when you go there and see them both in person, side by side.
Yeah, you can take a down the wrist shot and see how that case is going to dig in or not. I'll go in there. I'll be out of town for a while, but I'll be back end of next week. I'll go in there, check them out.
Yeah, Sammy the bunny says I should get both of them. The
Can't
day-date
get both.
and the
No,
GMT.
that's a terrible idea.
Did you hear what I'm planning on doing?
Yeah, you got your Bitcoin. You're going to wait till the halving and
I
let it.
bought one Bitcoin specially earmarked for buying a watch.
Yeah, that's a great
And
idea.
I bought it at 16K, and I said I'm going to wait till it's 100K and then sell it, pay the capital gains tax, and then take the leftover money. I should be able to get one of these gold watches plus a real nice LS 430 or maybe an LS 460. I kind of like the LS 430 even more than the LS 460. But, like a little old lady one with like 20,000 miles on it, something like that.
Yeah, both of those for free.
Well, they both cost 16,000.
Yeah, 16,000 for both of those. Hell of a
Yeah.
deal. Hell of a deal.
So, and I don't think it's that far off. I think we're talking about a year from this Christmas. I think that's about the timing because it usually peaks out about a year after the halving or a little more. And the halving's in like April. So maybe Christmas time, maybe March, April, maybe, a little after, maybe into the spring.
Yeah.
We should hit the peak.
It's going to, I think you have about a year from now, you should be looking at around 100K, if I had to guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's even sooner than I was thinking. The halving is in April. Usually we don't have the blow off top until almost a year after the halving. Because remember, the halving in 2017, the halving was in 2016. And then we didn't have the blow off top until late 2017.
Yeah, but who cares about the halving? You have $27 trillion of traditional finance doing spot ETFs. And that's
So
going to
you're
take.
thinking that there might be a run up around the time of the halving, and then there might be another big run up the typical time. So we might have and that happens in previous halving cycles too, where we have a run up and it's kind of like a fake out, and then it pulls back a little bit, and then we have the real big blow off top.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you my conspiracy theory on Bitcoin real quick. This is what I think is playing out. You might not agree with
One
it.
second, I got to turn off my two-way radio. It's making noise all of a sudden. Hold on one second. I'm going to come back. I forgot to turn that off before we started. Okay, so go ahead and give me your rundown.
Here's my rundown on what I think is playing out right now. You have two entities in the system that need shook out: Binance and Tether. They're both scams. They're
Yep,
wash trading. They're manipulating the prices, and I don't think it has anything to do with the viability of Bitcoin long term. But it does present a problem for all crypto, including Bitcoin. That just is what it is. Those
yep,
two things need to shake out of the system. There are investigations that have been going on for years at the DOJ for both of them. The SEC has gone after
yep,
Binance.
yep,
These traditional firms, BlackRock, Fidelity, Schwab, they know what's going on. They have people inside the DOJ that know what's going on.
yep.
They're all applying for these spot ETFs now so that they're ready to buy the dip when the Binance and Tether get shook out. And then when you have the ETFs go live, then it's gonna skyrocket. You get rid of Binance and Tether, and then you add in the traditional finance, 27 trillion under management. It's to the moon after that.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but here's the issue that we have right now is if you look at the wallet addresses that have 1 Bitcoin or more, those numbers are climbing steadily. We've got more and more Bitcoin becoming distributed to more people, and we have more Bitcoin that hasn't moved for like 2 years than ever before.
Yeah,
So
it's
we're
true.
all the data is showing that more and more Bitcoin is going into self-custody long-term storage. And so my take is no matter what happens with all these other ancillary things, there's going to be shortages of Bitcoin going forward. And Michael Saylor just announced he bought a whole bunch more Bitcoin. He has now 152,000 Bitcoin. Um, I think regardless of what happens with the ETFs or with any of these exchanges being sued or any of this stuff, I think that when we cut the supply in half again in April,
Yeah,
there's going to
I
be
agree.
real problems with people getting enough Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. But a huge problem right now is that 90% of the volume in the market is Binance manipulating it with stable coins that aren't backed by anything. It's fake. The run up from
Yeah, but they can
25,000 to
only
30,000
manipulate it so much. I mean,
they have
when it
90% of the
dips,
volume. They have 90% of the volume. The entire 25K to 30K run
yeah,
up.
but if a lot of it's fake trades, then it doesn't matter as far as what I'm saying. It doesn't really affect the Bitcoin that people are holding, and people like Michael Saylor that want to buy real Bitcoin are still going to want to buy real Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah, but
so
for example, if you bought Bitcoin today, though, you're paying 5,000 more than you would have if Binance wasn't manipulating it.
maybe we don't really know how much real effect they're having on the price. You know, you can sit there wash trading back and forth with your buddies all day long, and that may or may not really, because most of the big purchases may go over the counter anyway. Michael Saylor's not buying on exchanges. He's buying over the counter transactions primarily.
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't know. I mean, what this will all play out, but and I think, to tell you the truth, Binance has some high-powered lawyers. I think that they're going to work out a deal. I don't think that they're going to crash and burn and be wiped out of the system. I think they're going to work out some kind of a deal. You know?
I think that it's possible that they work out a deal. Um, as far as the criminal charges that are going to be out there, but the sustainability of the exchange itself, they're getting shut down country after country. Their on ramps and off ramps, banking partners are shutting down. They're hanging by a thread as it stands. They just
What do
so
you
it
think?
all
You don't think they can pivot to just Bitcoin only and survive that way?
no, because it's propped up with BNB Binance coins and all kinds of junk that it's very, very similar to what FTX had going on. And so FTX, if you go back to FTX, sure, they could have maybe worked out a deal on the criminal charges, but the sustainability of the exchange itself, they were $8 billion underwater. And Binance is
Okay.
probably similar.
Yeah, but if Binance Well, let's say they just jettison all of that, reorganize, they go bankrupt, whatever, they reorganize under a new name. You know how this happens. And
Yeah.
they just keep the Bitcoin trade. That you have to be able, how can you possibly lose money if you're making that money every time somebody buys or sells Bitcoin on your platform? It seems like they should be able to make money just doing that. And they could pivot to that sort of a scenario.
Yeah, that's what Coinbase does essentially. Like they don't
Coinbase could
do.
do that too. They could jettison all the shit coins
Yeah,
and
they
just
can
do
get rid of
Bitcoin
the.
only.
Yeah, they can get rid of all the altcoins. They can get rid of their lending program. They can get rid of their staking. They can get rid of all that and just make transaction fees on buying and selling Bitcoin. But the big difference is if you get into that business and then the Schwabs and the BlackRocks and the Fidelities get in there, they're going to drive the fees that you can get for transacting Bitcoin down to nearly zero. And they'll put Coinbase and Binance out of business almost immediately. So
Maybe, but maybe Coinbase can operate more efficiently than them.
maybe it's possible. And
They
that
have to
they have,
fire a lot of people, reorganize. But
yeah,
anyway, that here's the thing. The cat's out of the bag. People want Bitcoin, that's clear. They're going to get it one way or the other. They're going to buy it through Strike. They're going to buy it through PayPal, wherever, right? They're going to get their Bitcoin one way or the other, and it's a dwindling supply. And so all of this can be playing out like you're talking about, but the fact remains it's a supply and demand situation, and the supply is dwindling and the demand is still increasing. So I don't know how we'd see anything but the price going up significantly over the next, let's say, 3 to 4 years. And I don't know if we're even going to have the typical bear market, because I think if the big players get in, which is very possible, I think that's going to put a dampening effect on the major sell-offs and the the what we've seen with the previous bear markets. I think it's going to dampen quite a bit of that. We'll see. Time will tell the tale. But uh, if the market cap significantly increases, it's much harder to drive the prices down anyway. It's harder at that point to manipulate it anyhow. You need more capital to achieve that.
yeah,
Anyway, interesting times we live in.
yeah. I mean, I
Um,
totally agree with you. The only thing I that we probably don't agree on is I think that there is fake demand out there by virtue of this Binance manipulating the market with wash trading and whatever, and Tether. And I think that that's one component. And then there's another component that when those problems get shaken out of the system, that will lead to some tumultuous times that will lower demand in crypto overall as well. So that's a double whammy. The manipulation goes away, plus people get less interested because there's an FTX situation that happens again. But then it'll pick back up. So that's just like I think there's a bump or two in the road, but then it'll get back to normal.
so are you still looking for a major sell down and the price going down to like 10 grand or something?
Yeah, because I need to buy my bitcoins back, Craig. I have to buy them back.
Okay. Well, maybe you can get a couple of your buddies to do a quick flash sale and drive it down, a big wick down, and then you can buy in.
I don't know anybody that can create wicks, but yeah, I kind of am hoping for one of these shakedowns to happen so I can get my bitcoins back.
Yeah. But you've still been buying though, right? You're still stacking.
I buy it every day as a
Okay.
hedge. Yeah, I buy it every
Got
day as a hedge.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I still have Bitcoin and buy it every day, but I want to get
Well,
back to normal.
according to Adam Meister from years ago, the correct number of Bitcoin to have in cold storage that you never touch is 21 Bitcoin. And I'm not sure how he got that number, but that's the number he came up with. That basically you'll be fine 10, 20 years from now. You won't have a thing in the world to worry about. So just make sure you've got 21 sitting somewhere safe. And then the rest of it you can kind of play with and monkey around with and buy watches and do whatever you want to do. But just have the 21 safe. So Durr's trolling a little bit. We got nobody interested in what we're talking about. We only got 3 people watching, so nobody gives a damn. Oh God, God help us. So anyway, Durr, I'll bring you up to date. I'll bring you up to speed since you tuned in late. I'll put the picture back up on the screen. We were talking about a GMT Master or a Day-Date, and we've got a few issues. The issue is that the sharp side of the GMT, because it's a thinner watch and the case back doesn't protrude out as much, it might those sharp edges might impact with your arm more and be an uncomfortable situation from time to time, as opposed to the Day-Date that is more rounded. But on the other side of the argument, the GMT is more legible theoretically, even though it has a smaller dial. And I do like the Jubilee bracelet as well. So we have a quandary here, and we have one viewer that said just buy them both. So I don't know. I don't know what we should do. Durr, what do you think? Do you think you just buy both?
That Day-Date is Durr's favorite Day-Date. If he were to replace his Day-Date, that's the one he would get. That exact configuration. Maybe the one with the diamonds though on the dial.
You know, I was not a fan of the 40 mil Day-Date when it came out, but now I'm coming around to it because, again, for me, it'd be more legible, right? And
Yeah.
I don't see evidence that it's significantly less comfortable. I think I could get used to it. I think it could be comfortable. Oh my God, Sailor wears a platinum one. You talk about something that's heavy. He wears a platinum Day-Date and he wears it real loose on his wrist.
You should consider, if you get the Day-Date, Craig, the one with the baguette indices, the diamond indices, because they on the website they look pretty flashy. They have at Lilquest and Beckstead, the other watch store in Tyson's Corner, they had the one with the diamonds. I tried it on, and I actually didn't even know that it was the one with the diamonds until I looked at it about 3 times. They're very subtle in person, but they're a nice touch.
Does it make it more legible?
I wouldn't say one way or the other. I mean, it's better than the. It's more.
Make an
legible.
observation next time you're there. To look and see what you think. If they still have the one with the diamonds, if you think it would be more legible.
Yeah, it won't have loom though.
I know.
So,
I don't care about loom.
if you don't care about loom, it was more legible. They're bigger and they're shiny.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So let's see. Durst got some silly comments in here. I can't. Okay, so what else? I think we addressed all the issues between these two watches?
I think so. The other thing,
they're about the same price.
With the GMT, you're getting a timing bezel. You can use that GMT bezel to time things. You're getting a second time zone as well, and you're getting the Easy Link adjustment on the clasp, the extra 5 millimeters. Which,
Okay. A question on that gold GMT. How do you adjust it other than the links? Does it have another adjustment in there other than the Easy Link? Does it have like 4 positions you can put it in or something?
Within the clasp itself, there's 3 positions. And then you have the 5 millimeter.
Okay, so in the clasp itself, the 3 positions, how do you adjust it? Do you need a tool or is it toolless?
You need a tool for the one in the clasp.
But it's pretty straightforward.
It's just a spring bar tool that you use to do that.
So that would be like your seasonal adjustment.
Yeah, you could do a seasonal adjustment with that, or you could just pop the Easy Link open in the summertime and close it in the wintertime.
Yeah, but it might be more of an. I think those micro adjustments are less than the 5 millimeters, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're about half of it, about 2.5.
Yeah, so like 2 millimeters or something or whatever they are. Yeah, which is probably better for a seasonal adjustment. That's about how much I adjust the 231.
But I'm not as familiar with the Day-Date, but I believe the President bracelet, the only way to adjust it is the links.
Links, yeah. I took a link out every season and put it back in?
So the GMT, as far as a watch where you can just open the clasp, pop the easy link if it starts to get too tight in the summertime or whatever. That's a lot nicer system than you have with the President. I've talked to the AD a lot about like what their customers do with the day dates, and they range. They say some of them just wear them loose all the time, and then you have this heavy gold watch flopping around. And they said some of them just bring them in, at the beginning and end of the season to do the links like you did.
Yeah. Michael Saylor wears his pretty loose, and it's platinum.
Yeah, I couldn't wear a loose platinum day date. It would hurt your hand. Swinging your arm around, you get that thing weighs like over a pound.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So so yeah, has Durr gotten any watches lately? What's Durr been doing?
Durr bought 2 Pateks.
Okay.
He has
Please tell me they're not white gold.
He bought a platinum Patek and he bought a yellow gold Patek.
Okay, that's better.
Yep.
Yeah, that's better.
I think one is a 5134P. You could pull it up. And the other one is a 5196J.
Wait, let me pull 5134P.
Yeah, I think it's 5134P. It's a travel time.
Yeah. And that's the platinum one?
Yeah, that's the platinum one.
P. Okay, I'll pull it up here. Oh, for crying out loud. Yes, I accept. So, yeah, there's one.
Yeah, that's
Chrono
it.
24. How come there's only one picture? What are these people, crazy? Oh, gosh, I give up. Yeah, I'd have to see it.
This is a little different. I don't think his has the Arabic indices.
I'd have to see it in person. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has all the numbers all the way around.
Yeah, I don't think Durr's has the numbers. It's the same watch, but it doesn't have the numbers. The dial's different. It has a white dial, but it has just, I think, stick indices, if I remember correctly. And then the other one he got is the same Calatrava that Carlos has, but it's the yellow. I think Carlos has the white gold one, but
so he bought the one with the tiny movement in it.
Tiny movement, yeah. He got a really good deal on it, though. Like it was.
I
really
hope so.
Yeah, it was
I
a really
hope
good,
so.
It was a really good deal, and it's a small watch.
I'm trolling him. He's here, so I figured I'd troll him back.
Yeah, you got to troll Durr back a little bit. Yeah, he has a little tiny miniature movement in there, and he wears it when he rides his bike around Detroit.
It keeps the watch lighter weight.
Yeah, it looks great on him though. It's a small watch, probably one of the smallest watches in his collection, but his wrist shots, it looks fantastic.
Sammy asked what the day-date is. It's 38,500. What does it go for these days? 38,500. And I don't, on the gray market, I think they're about the same price. I don't think they're getting much over list for them.
The gold ones have come down a lot for sure. Okay, Durr's saying the one you pulled up, Craig, was the 5134G. The white gold one has the Arabic indices.
Okay, because I searched P, and then of course the search engine just screwed me over.
It's a very rare watch. Like when Durr bought his, it was the only one for sale on the market. They don't come up very often. I don't think they made very many of them.
Okay. So he's going to have to send us some photos. We're going to have to do a special show on that. He's going to have to send us some really good photos.
Yeah, and then you're in your hiatus, or at least your slower frequency of the show. Durr went out and became a Patek collector. All of a sudden, he has 2 of them now.
Did he sell any steel stunners to do that?
Durr has not sold a watch, as far as I know.
Durr says it's hard to troll someone who wears a Patek when you're countering with a Grand Seiko. The problem is that this 002 is actually a more attractive watch than both of his Pateks. That's the problem. It's actually more attractive. I asked a stunning blonde the other day, and she was stunning, okay? I asked her, I said, take a look at this watch. I want your opinion. I want your honest opinion. Is this the most beautiful watch that you've ever seen. And don't lie to me. Tell me if you think it looks like shit. Tell me that, right? And she looked at it. She looked at it real close, and she looked at it some more, and she says, "That is unbelievable." She says, "Yeah, no, I've never seen anything quite like it." And
It's
so,
true. When I had the 002, I know most people in my life don't care about watches, but that's the only watch really that anybody was like, wow, that's a stunning watch. So that it's a crowd pleaser in the non-watch crowd, for
yeah,
sure.
you need to just ask somebody that is well dressed, stunning, like, a very attractive woman that carries herself well and all that, and just show her the watch and see what she says.
They
Because she's
also
going to,
women also really like Panerai. That's the other watch that you get lots of compliments from women on.
interesting.
Yep.
Uh,
Triforce
Durst
wrist
says the P
confirms
stands
that.
for pretty rare.
Yeah, that P is 5134P is very very rare.
Platinum really is a very good material for jewelry because it's very strong, and this is why they mount. If you get a high-end diamond ring, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in a platinum mount because you're not going to lose that diamond. It's going to hold that diamond in place, and that's why they use it. It's tough stuff. Now it's not as tough as grade 5 titanium. Almost nothing is, but it's, as far as a material to make jewelry out of, it's hard to beat platinum. It's
It's
serious
very
stuff.
nice. It's great. I have a friend who just bought the Platinum Daytona, and I haven't seen it in person, but I'm sure it's pretty heavy. My wedding ring and my wife's jewelry is platinum, her diamond jewelry, and it's very
Yeah.
good. The only downside to platinum is it's actually softer than 18 karat gold, and so from on the
Why
hardness
do you
scale,
say it's softer than 18 karat gold? Where do you get that from?
it just is. You can look it up. It's actually softer, so it scratches very very easily.
Well, it
So
might scratch easily, but that doesn't mean it's softer. Because that's why they mount diamonds in it, is because the prongs don't bend out and you don't lose your diamond. They wouldn't do that if it was softer, e.g., weaker.
it is. It's a softer metal than 18 karat gold.
I think you're whistling Dixie.
Yeah, you can look it up. Yeah, just Google, is platinum softer than 18 karat gold? And you
Okay,
got a bunch
we're
of
gonna do
articles
this
that
live
say,
right now.
yes, lost
Okay.
spring bar is correct. I just looked this up the other day, which
Is
is why
platinum
I'm certain.
softer than 18 karat yellow gold?
According to Lexi Jordan Jewelry, despite being stronger, platinum is also softer than 14K gold.
But it's stronger.
It scratches faster.
Stronger, but softer.
Golds are significantly softer and on par with platinum as far as scratching goes.
They're softer.
Yeah.
The she said the platinum is stronger. So I don't understand what they mean, what the hell they're talking about. I can understand that it might scratch easily on the surface, but if it's stronger, it's stronger. How can it be softer and stronger at the same time?
I'm not sure like what two characteristics they're talking about, but I believe it. Like stronger could be if you had a pole, you couldn't bend it and snap it, right? But it would scratch easier. It's more pliable and also stronger.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think we need to dive into this deeper because there's, like I say, it's well known in the jewelry industry that if you're going to mount like a 1 carat diamond in an engagement ring or something, and you don't want to lose that freaking diamond out of the mount, you use platinum. You don't use 18 karat yellow gold. You can. They do sell rings with mounts that are 18 karat yellow gold, but you will rarely see that used for a high end engagement ring because you're going to lose the freaking diamond, or much more likely to lose it. So that's where I don't understand how they can say it's stronger, but also softer.
Yeah, it does scratch. Like my wedding ring, if you get it polished up and it looks perfect, within a week it looks absolutely terrible just from wearing it day to day.
Yeah, it says here, despite being stronger, platinum is also softer than 14 karat gold. It doesn't mention the 18 karat gold. As a result, it scratches faster. However, higher karat golds, 18 and 24, are significantly softer and on par with platinum as far as scratching goes. All of this scratching stuff, I, I mean, I've had a lot of gold watches and a lot of steel watches and a lot of, platinum watches. They all freaking scratch. I've never seen any evidence that a steel Rolex will scratch less frequently than a freaking Date-8 in yellow gold. I had both. And my Date-8 was actually had fewer scratches on it than the steel watch that I had it in rotation with. Of course, the steel watch got heavier use, right?
A great
But they were both
example is
worn quite a bit. So
I've
I don't
had
understand.
I had a two-tone Sea Dweller that was yellow gold and the polished center links on the bracelet, and plenty of Rolexes that are steel with polished center links in the bracelet. And so I've lived through this many times. The gold does scratch sooner than the steel. So for example, just like falling asleep in a gold watch, like you wake up, there'll be micro scratches all over it. It just gets those micro scratches a lot sooner. The steel picks them up eventually too. But the gold scratches more gracefully over time. So after it builds up that patina, it starts to look better and better. And the steel scratches, they don't look as good. So it does pick up the scratches sooner than the steel, but eventually, like you said, they all get scratched. And I think that the gold ages more gracefully.
It just gets, like you say, my Date had like micro scratches on it, but from 4 feet away,
You
it
can't see
looked
them.
like brand new.
Yeah, and I remember when I sold that watch, I took photos of it, and from with my iPhone, and there were certain angles where I couldn't actually capture the scratches on it from 6 inches away, and so I wanted to be fully disclosing the condition of the
Yeah.
watch, so I had to actually work to show the scratches because you can't see them all the time.
Yeah, but those, like for example, the Yacht Masters with the polished center links,
Yeah,
that was always a fail. I mean, I don't understand why they ever did that. Those things just are going to scratch, and you're going to see it. There's nothing you can do. I mean, that large, flat, polished surface. I mean, come on, it's
yeah,
a recipe for disaster. And the
yeah. It's
same
kind of
thing
like
with
the
with the polished clasps, where the middle part is polished.
yeah, they get
My
destroyed.
gosh, that's going down on the desk all the time. That's instantly scratched. It should be brushed.
Yeah, my gold Daytona uh, clasp is like that, scratched within days, gets ruined.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do about it. But they're at the end of the day, they're Rolex watches. They're meant to be worn, and if you send it to Rolex, they'll send it back looking brand new.
But here's the problem, though. If you do wear it and it gets those scratches, you're not going to get that premium price that they talk about on, like let's say a sub, I don't know what a sub no date goes for right now. Let's say hypothetically it goes for 12,000. I'm just throwing out a number. You might get 12,000 if it's in the box and papers and it's pretty much mint. But if you've been wearing it every day for a year or two and it's got the normal wear and tear on it, they might knock $1,000 off.
Yeah, these days, if you want to get the premium prices secondary market, it has to be mint, box and papers, never been worn. If you wear it, it significantly decreases the price. You're almost back to, for almost all Rolexes in the secondary market, you're pretty close to retail if it's used. A couple thousand more.
Uh, but a Daytona would still be significantly more, right?
Daytona is still more. Like a used, even a GMT Master, like a Pepsi or Batman, they're say it's 10,000 for the watch, 11,000 for the watch these days. A used one will go for 14, 15, 16. Brand new one, 17, 18. For the Pepsi, probably 17 for the Batman.
Yeah.
On the Yeah, so the Daytonas though are still pretty rare. Like a stainless steel Daytona is probably 15 these days, and they still go for
Do you
20,
think that there's a
20 years.
chance that a year from now we'll be talking about prices back to where they were like 6 years ago, where you could literally just walk in and buy at retail and sometimes even get a discount?
Yeah, and you don't have to go 6 years ago. For example, in 2020, 3 years ago, this week, same week in 2020, I was in Pittsburgh and went to my local AD there, and they had a case filled with watches. They had probably 50
Well,
Rolexes.
including though GMTs and stuff.
They did not have GMTs, but they, for example, had two-tone Submariners, two-tone Daytonas, a
Yeah,
platinum
no, I'm
Daytona.
talking about the watches that are really hard to get. I'm talking about the steel sports
No,
watches.
you're not going to get back to a time. I don't think. For example, the Batman was came out in 2009. It was never really available at ADAs without a wait list. So those watches will
Well,
never
I'll
be
tell you
easily
though, when I bought
reproduced.
my GMT, though I bought the one with the black bezel, whatever you want to call it, all black
Ceramic
with the
one.
no. This is way back in the day.
Oh,
A,
okay.
a GMT with a Jubilee bracelet with the black bezel, all black, right?
Yeah.
I just walked into the AD and bought it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get back to that. I think you're going to be able, I think within a year or two, you'll be able to get the gold models, the precious metal models, two-tone, date justs, yacht masters that are two-tone, or even maybe just regular yacht masters. But you're always going to have this tier of watches from Rolex, the Daytonas, like the titanium yacht master, the GMTs, any one of them, the popular Submariners. They'll be very difficult to get today.
See, I mean, I don't think so, because like I say, the last whatever number of years it's been, maybe you say it's been 10 years or however long it's been where you couldn't walk in and buy a GMT. Those 10 years are an anomaly. The 30 years before that I've been into Rolex is 40 years, okay? The 30 years before that, I never knew a time that I couldn't get. Now, I might have to go to a couple of ADs, right? I might have to hunt around a little bit, but I could get the watch that I wanted. That was normal. I still think what we have with what we've had, where you can't go in and buy a GMT Master for God's sakes, that's abnormal. Now the freaking Daytonas, they used to sit in the window. The AD couldn't even sell them. Nobody wanted the damn things.
But when I got into watches in 2006, and in 2006, the stainless steel Daytonas were the only Rolex you couldn't get. Every other Rolex, including GMTs, the previous gen, the 5-digit ones, and even the black ceramic bezel GMT, the first ceramic one they did, those were all easily obtainable in the showcase in 2006. But at that point in time, the stainless steel Daytonas were very difficult to get, 10-year wait lists, whatever. And that was probably the start of the hype. But to your point,
Gotcha.
I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, because something switched over the last 5, 6, 7 years, where Rolexes used to be watches that held their value pretty well, and it's flipped and they've become investments first.
Yeah, but see, that's what I think is going to change. I think that is what is going to change, and it's going to change pretty rapidly when it changes, because what's going to happen is the people that have been hoarding the watches as quote investments, when they start realizing that these aren't as good an investment as they once were, and those things start hitting the market, that can rapidly change the supply demand ratio.
It's
Because
true.
back in the day, people walked in and bought one watch, maybe two watches. Like I had two watches in rotation at all times, right? That was all. People didn't buy 6 watches. They didn't have 12 watches. They didn't have a box with 12 freaking watches in it, all steel stunners, right? That didn't happen back in the day. Maybe rarely, right? This is an anomaly. And I think that when China's economy continues to go south, which that place is freaking crashing and burning, when other economies kind of go south, and when these speculators realize that these things are not great stores of value, and then they wake up and they realize, oh, maybe Bitcoin is, right? And they start pivoting and selling and putting some of that money in Bitcoin, which they should have done a few years ago. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. That's going to change the dynamic. And I think it has to happen. We'll see. But I think it has to happen. And then the watches will be available because the speculators won't be buying them anymore.
Well,
It'll just be real end users buying them.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Rolex makes 1.2 million watches a year, every year.
Yeah.
And those watch boxes can only hold so many steel Rolexes. And eventually you'll saturate the investor class with watches. And eventually they'll have to stop investing in that asset. Like you can stack Bitcoin and it has limited supply. They're trying to stack assets that are somewhat rare now, but the supply is only increasing. Rolex is increasing it by 25% over the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 years.
Did
So
they build a new facility?
They're building one now. So if they make 1.2 million watches a year now, they're going to be making 1.5 million watches a year in 7 or 10 years. And so they're just more and more of them coming out there. So I mean, it could come down pretty quick, but I think Rolex is gaining a lot of stature from like having like, oh, it's like any other asset, whether it's Nintendo, Switches, or Xbox or whatever. They like the hype of not being able to get it. And I think if the market crashes, they'll just make less of some of the models like the Pepsi and to keep that demand up and keep the hype up a little bit. So I think they'll
they can try to control it. But again, I think that they would be fine with going back to the scenario where most of the sales at ADs are simply end users that go in and buy the watch and still pay retail. So or close to it. I mean, I could get back in the day, I could get like a 10% discount on the steel watches and like 20 to 30% on all gold, right?
Yeah.
You could definitely get a good substantial discount on the gold ones.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't return to that if they manage supply well. Maybe we'll return to a scenario where most people are just going in and paying retail and buying it, in which case I think Rolex would be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a reporter from Hodinkee who visited Rolex, and obviously they can't say anything or take photos. But the one thing that they did say was that a lot of folks speculate that Rolex likes this situation that's been happening where you can't buy them and there's wait lists and all that. And he confirmed, he said the company like 1,000% views it as a problem that people can't buy their watches. And it just frankly is hurting the brand. There's people going to Grand Seiko. There's people going to Omega. There's people going to Blancpain. There's people going to other brands because they can't
and
get the
some
Rolex
probably just get out of the hobby completely.
Exactly. And so I think Rolex, that's why they're building a new factory. And so they're trying to fix things. And I mean, I don't know. You can kind of see it now. There's a lot more people getting the call. There's a lot more people you see on the forums. Just anecdotally, people that I know that are just getting the calls for watches that they've wanted for a long time.
Well,
so it's
this woman Erin at the jeweler down there, she didn't come out and say, if you come down here, you can buy this watch now. She didn't come out and say that, but she said, we're holding it for customers to examine it. We're going to hold it through around Christmas time, right? But she certainly implied that if I came down there and I had the freaking money, I would probably leave with that freaking watch.
Because I don't know if that's true because those exhibition models are like a program that Rolex rolled out. I'm not sure if
she told me that they're gonna sell it around Christmas time.
They're actually going to sell the display model.
That's what she implied.
Huh.
That's what she implied. Again, she didn't come right out and say it, but she said little things in the conversation. Like she said, Well, just in case you decide you don't want to wait, because I told her I was going to wait until not this Christmas, but the following Christmas. And
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh, I'm sure we can accommodate you, so on and so forth. Let me know about 8 months before." And then she said, "But just in case you decide to get it sooner, I'm sure we can accommodate you." That's how she put it. So that was interesting. Now she
Yeah.
knew that I had bought 2 gold Rolexes from them, but that was 23 years ago, right? I mean,
Yeah, they know
how
you're
big a
not a
deal is that?
flipper. Yeah, they know you're not a flipper. You're in there for your third one after all these years. So yeah, the other AD that's out in Tyson's carries Patek, and Patek just recently started doing those exhibition models as well. But when they explained those models to me, they said that they're for show only for the most part. And they strongly implied that for the right customers, they're allowed to sell those Pateks. So maybe it's the same with the Rolexes. Although I've been into a bunch of ADs that have those exhibition models, and they originally didn't work. They weren't working watches. They were
Yeah,
dummy
yeah.
watches. But now they actually are working models. So maybe they can sell them. I was under the impression that they didn't have the capability, like they didn't have a warranty card and stuff, that they have to send them back to Rolex, and they
And
probably get
maybe what she's saying in effect is that they anticipate that they're going to get one before Christmas time, and so they'll in effect be able to sell me one, whether it's that watch or another one. Maybe that's what she was telegraphing to me, because we're
yeah.
still we're still a ways away from Christmas time. We're still 6 months, so maybe
Yeah, and
that
those have
was what she
started
was
to
telegraphing.
those GMTs. I've seen a couple online, so I think they're starting to roll in. I think by August, September, the ADs should definitely have that watch.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Craig, I
What
gotta
do
I
you
gotta get rolling here.
before you go? Before you
Yeah,
go, what before you see the watch? I mean, what's your initial impression now? What do you really think about the watch?
the gold GMT.
Yeah.
I like everything about it. I agree with you that the gold jubilee is going to be like 90% as good as the president bracelet, but I think it wins because it has the easy link and it has the adjustability in the clasp. I think that it's going to be more legible because of the loom. I think that the markers and the hands are going to be bigger, so it's definitely going to be more legible. It's more functional because you have the GMT function and you have the bezel you can time stuff with. The only hesitation that I have with it is the case side, whether that would, depending on where on your wrist you wear the watch, that could bother you. And the other thing that I don't know about that watch is the gray for the bottom of the bezel. I've seen some photos where it looks almost like submarine gray. It's a little like very matte. But I've seen other
Okay.
photos where it's like a richer gray that's like a glossy gray, which looks quite nice. So I'd have to see it in person just to see like which, whether
Yeah,
it goes
yeah.
from the
See
matte
see if you
submarine
can take
gray
some
to the.
photos when you're there with it. See if she'll let you take some photos, and definitely talk to Erin. Okay, Erin.
Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Okay. All right. Let me know, and then we'll do a show after that. You say it'll be a couple weeks.
I'll be able to go and look at it next week. So
Okay.
on Thursday or Friday.
Cool. Cool. All right. We'll do a show and show off your stuff.
Sounds good, Craig. Great chat. See you
All
later.
right. Carry on. All right. So we're going to wrap this puppy up, to be determined, to be continued. To be continued. This is an amazing discussion that we're having here. Pan-seared ribeyes, and women love the Rolex Pepsi GMT. They're buying them for themselves to wear. I know one who bought it and several who want it. Whoa. Okay. So the beautiful women out there are securing the Pepsis. Good move. All right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of women wearing 40 mil Rolexes. I think it looks okay. I just can't imagine it's comfortable on a small wrist to wear a watch that big. I would think that it would get a little bit uncomfortable, if you wear it for quite a while. But it is what it is. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up again. The watches that we were talking about, let's shift back and I'll show this photo again. That's the watches that we're talking about. Is it do you get the day-date? Do you get the 40 mil day-date with the black dial, with or without the diamond indices? Or do you get the GMT, the all new yellow gold GMT on that Jubilee bracelet? That is a stunner for sure. So we'll figure this out. We'll figure it out, and we'll keep you all informed. That's what we do. Thanks for watching. Oh, there's the gold versus platinum. Thanks for watching. We're going to wrap this puppy up. This has been a special emergency broadcast. Special emergency broadcast. Oh, we got one more comment here. Let's see. Go for the gold GMT pan-sear ribeye. I think you're right. I'm leaning that direction. I think you might be right. But we're going to continue to examine the details. I do want to find out if that watch has the ceramic sleeves and the bracelet to keep it from getting that bracelet stretch. Because I wear my watches a lot, and I want them to be able to hold up. This is not going to be a box watch. If I get this watch, it will not be, I can promise you, it will not be a box watch. It will get heavy use. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.